Ielts speaking assessment criteria. Examiners use detailed and set performance descriptors while assessing your speaking. There are 4 parameters that are taken into consideration. Number 1, fluency. Number 2, lexical resource. Number 3, grammar range and accuracy. And number 4, pronunciation. These 4 parameters must be met in order to score better in the speaking module. Each criterion accounts for 25% of your marks. Natural way of speaking requires some sort of practice and attention. In fact, these 4 recommended parameters of speaking are the central pillars of spoken English. Let's see a detailed analysis of all of these 4 parameters. Number 1, fluency. Anybody who speaks a couple of English sentences is seen with respect, especially where English is not a first official language, and in most occasions they are given an unofficial tag of fluent speakers. In it may not be true because a few sentences spoken in English language is not a marker of fluency. Instead, it requires underlying dedicated efforts to master it. Fluency is one of those efforts that help students get their desired scores in IELTS speaking. What does exactly fluency mean in the IELTS context? Fluency means that a student is able to speak at length without having to struggle for words and expressions and other language parts. While speaking, the student needs to be careful of not having any hesitations and pauses. Hesitations and pauses while speaking signal the weak fluency. Many a time, words come out wrong or sentences are with grammatical errors. What do? Self-correction. Yes, you heard me right. Self-correction is not a bad idea, but if it is done on many occasions, there is a penalty in the exam. Ergo, it is essential that students talk at length without self-correction a great deal. The information in the form of sentences, full or fragmented ones, must be understood clearly. In other words, the message should come through loud and clear. One of the important elements of language fluidity is how we use linking devices. For example, in writing section, the test taker has to be careful about what kinds of words he chooses for a better score. He may use furthermore or additionally to add the information in the piece of writing, while in spoken English the word and only suffice. You do not need to go for a formal word. Number 2, lexical resource. Vocabulary is a vehicle for beautifying the speaking, especially the appropriate words. Try to be consistent in using handsome lexical features throughout speaking. 2 things are there of which the utmost care should be taken while using vocabulary. The first, which relates to high-sounding words, and the second is the appropriate words. High-sounding words may not be easy for students to grasp unless they practice hard. Do not push yourself for high-sounding words if you are unable to use them with effect. It is better not to experiment a new word for which you are not confident at all. About the appropriate words, it plays a vital role. Students more often use the inappropriate word to the situation. Such an experiment heavily penalizes them. For example, there is a difference between the word effect and affect. Let's say what difference these 2 words have. If something affects a person or thing, it influences them or makes them change. Your nonsense opinion will not affect my decision. Effect means to make something happen. These drugs may not effect miraculous cures. Therefore, it is very essential to use the right word to the situation. It is important to have control over lexical features. Needs to be used to offer a wide range of vocabulary in a natural and sophisticated manner. Appropriate word choice and idiomaticity are focal point that one needs to remember forever. Furthermore, a range of words and a paraphrasing must be incorporated in your speaking. Using the same words or copying from the questions would not serve the purpose. Get the hang of collocations. Collocations refer to a combination of words in a language that happens very often and more frequently than would happen by chance. They are like close friends and like to hang out with each other. They hate to be alone. For example, we say short hair but not small hair, blonde hair but not yellow hair. Foxes are sly but not foxes are devious. Resounding success but not strong success. We do the homework but not we write the homework. Banks don't forgive a debt, but not banks don't waive a debt. We landed a big deal, but not we struck a big deal. Happy hours, but not cheerful hours. High hopes, but not tall hopes. Tall promises, but not high promises. He's making good progress. I have to do the washing up. With the important collocation, students also need to produce a range of less common vocabulary. Common vocabulary would not be very much effective to induce a high score. For example, use fabulous for good or unpleasant for bad. It is not hard to put such words into use. You can make a list of those words and try using them while practicing with your friends or a mentor. Last but not least, try avoiding errors. It is understandable that at times it is not in the hands of the student to control their errors, but conscious efforts to produce erroneous free speaking should be pushed. Third, grammar range and accuracy. Sentence structure and usage are basic necessity for any language. Frequent or accumulation of errors in sentence structure leads nowhere. Therefore, a wide range and variety of syntactic structures represent clarity of the task and checks occasional obscure meaning. Sentence formation with full range of accuracy and flexibilities produce desirable results and make sense. Active and passive voice, tenses, modal verbs, relative pronouns, articles, prepositions, phrasal verbs, gerunds, etc. are the basic pillars of language. Please learn them. It is necessary, especially for those students whose English is not a first language. In some cases, they overly struggle in using articles in a correct manner. Fourth, pronunciation. There is a misconception among students that the Western accent could fetch a better score. Because of that, we have seen some students trying to fake the accent. It is a total delusion and farce. The important point is your speaking must be understood clearly without putting any efforts by the examiner or listener. The speaking accent does not affect understanding. Therefore, it is a need for students to be natural speaker rather than mimicking someone's accent. What is important is speaking. It is your pronunciation and the right pace of speaking. Our vernacular languages are designed to speak slightly faster than English language. Therefore, it is natural that students rush while speaking. Here is a caveat. Don't rush and speak slowly and clearly. Focus on your stress and intonation. Go through the separate tip section while only focuses on these points. Accurate words and sound pronunciation is the key to speaking, and anything that is slightly haphazard from this standard drags the scores down.